Hey, friends, I'm Otis Gibbs, and this is the legendary engineer and producer David Ferguson. He's going to tell you some stories about his friendship with Johnny Cash.
He always had time to say hello. The one time he did Austin City Limits, I was with him. And that was in February of '86, because I researched it, and I was down at Austin City Limits not too long ago with somebody else. And I said, I did that Johnny Cash show. And even the guy that still works there, the same guy, David, what's his name down there? But so before the taping that day, we were on vacation in Jamaica. I was down there with the family in Jamaica having a time of my life. I was young, and so we're walking up the street in Austin, walking down the sidewalk, and there's a big deep hole in the sidewalk with these dudes down in there, digging, and we walk past it, and we hear this voice says, "There's Johnny Cash." And Johnny turns around, he says, "Come back here and shake my hand." And this guy was covered in mud. And Johnny never batted an eye. He went back there and slapped that guy's hand and shook his hand and says, "Great to meet you." And Johnny told me something after that, and I've always remembered it. He said, "Ferg," he said, I went back there and shook that guy's hand. He said, because he's my fan. And he said, if I hadn't, he may not tell anybody that I shook his hand today. But if he does, he said, it will be a very positive thing. And he said, if I hadn't stopped to shake his hand, he said, everybody would know. That asshole Johnny Cash wouldn't even say hi to me, So it mattered to him. And little things, like tipping the guy carrying his groceries out $100, and I said, "Johnny, that's a nice tip." He said, "That $100 is nothing to me, but it's everything to him." He said, "Hey, it's everything to that guy." And he was a very kind, generous man, and funny as hell. He was funny. I mean, he would do funny shit. Like, I just heard a fresh one on him the other day, and I know it's true because because the way his mind works, or worked. But Billy Sanford, one of the greatest guitar players of all time, who you should interview, if he played guitars for, all the George and Tammy stuff, all that stuff. That's all his electric guitars, on Johnny Paycheck's records, everybody's records. So anyway, Billy was out on tour playing with Don Gibson or Roy Orbison or somebody. They had a package tour going, and this was back in the probably early 60s, mid 60s. And they go to a cafeteria, and are in this line at this cafeteria, and Johnny says, "Luther, go out and get my shaving kit, from the car." And Luther stomped out there and got it and brought it back. And John got out his shaving cream, and there was all these pieces of pie, this pumpkin pie, and he dabbed each one of them with shaving cream going down through there and put it back in the thing and never said a word to nobody. Now, that's the way his mind worked. Funny man. Beautiful. It is. I wish I'd have thought of it. He was on Columbia all those years, and then he went to Mercury. And God bless Steve Popovich's heart. Steve Popovich, when he took over Mercury, one of the first things he did was sign Johnny Cash. He said, "Johnny's free. Love him." Who would drop a guy like that, And so we love Steve Popovich. He's gone now, but he, so Steve's idea, he said, well, let's put him together with Cowboy Clement, because those guys had done a bunch of great stuff in the past before, let's put him back with him. What the hell, And we made Johnny Cash Is Coming to Town, and two or three others, and then Harold Shedd took over Mercury, and he dropped Johnny, or Johnny got out of the contract, and that's when, and Johnny was doing, he was I was with him in Branson. They were going to open a Johnny Cash theater in Branson, and so he was he was playing while they were working on his theater. He was playing at Wayne Newton's theater, you know, and he's doing these matinees and stuff, man. And so Johnny Cash goes out there and like 2 o'clock in the afternoon to do a matinee, or 3 o'clock, and there's 50 people in the audience. And it was just heartbreaking to him, you know. And, you know, and he liked Johnny every show, man. I mean, I saw a lot of Johnny Cash shows, and I loved the Johnny Cash show better than anything. You know? His Johnny Cash show was great when he had all them people in that band, too, when he had the horns and, you know, he had a couple of horn players and piano and a couple of electric guitars and bass and drums and the Carter sisters singing back up to him and all that, you know. It was like this. It was a hell of a show, you know. Like they'd start out with this slow instrumental version of "I Walk the Line" on just the piano, you know, like this beautiful thing, you know, out of tempo, and then it would, you know, and then then the band would kick in there and the lights, and then Johnny'd come walking out, and man, it was just like bigger than life. It was so good, and he poured his heart into every show. So to go out there and there's 50 people in the audience, so he had a contract, and I was there when he came out there that day, and he saw those 50 people, and he said, "I'd like for y'all to know, I'm gonna make an announcement right now." He said, "This is my last show in Branson, Missouri." He said, "This is it. This is the last show." He said, "And I'm gonna give you the full measure. I'm gonna give you the whole show." He said, "I really want you to enjoy it." I mean, he was so kind to his fans, you know. They love him. And man, he gave him a hell of a show, and that was it. I mean, and then it was all in the papers. Johnny Cash, you know, reneges on contract. Out of here, you know. But the rise of the American recordings with Johnny was great, and he had this really he had a really good relationship with Rick. You know, I'd send each other songs, you know, and I wouldn't take anything from my time with Johnny. He was really great. I think about him every day.
If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like it, subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and tell me what your favorite Johnny Cash song is down below, and I'll see you somewhere down the road. Much love to you.